Hi everyone, Sean here from the Sci-Fi Model Guy, and as you can see, I am not on camera, and as you can probably hear, I'm not really feeling all that well. I've been battling quite a bit of a bug for the last few days, so decided to record this intro off camera. Now, in this video, everyone, we're at chapter 10 already, and we're going to be talking about the detail pieces, how we painted those, how we prepped them, and what we're doing to get those installed. Then we're going to be talking about installing the light effects for the warp nacelles, and then finishing off the video with some decal application. So we're getting down to the fun stuff and where the ship starts looking really cool. And then the next video, everyone, we will be putting the decals on the saucer section. It was just a little bit too much to include on this video. It was running a little bit long. So we'll catch that next video. And just as a reminder, everyone, the ship is done, and boy, does she look great. All the weathering effects are done, and she's ready to go. And I have started building the base. We've got quite a bit of work done on that. And we're about to start doing the details. So that will be a video on its own, and then we'll do the final reveal. So just a couple more videos left on this build series, and can't wait to finish it and show it off to you. So that is it for this intro, everyone. I hope you are staying safe and that you're happy wherever you are, and we will see you down the road. Take care. All right, everyone, just want to do a little segment here on the supplementary pieces, or the little side pieces of the kit that are going to be going on in the warp nacelles, etc. And actually, most of these are the warp nacelles. So right here, we've got some rings that go on the front of the nacelles. These are some pieces that go on the side that correspond like with these little silver grill things. We've got the end caps here, the back right there, of course. These are for the sides of the nacelles. These are some little struts, or just basically all of the nacelles. The only little thing here that's not nacelle is this piece. It's going to go on the top of the saucer section. It's kind of like a little dorsal piece. So all that aside, what I want to talk about is just kind of what I did to paint these things. So all of these things have a darker gray color. These are kind of a secondary gray. And for that, I chose the Tamiya TS99. It's a UN gray. It's on the darker side. Now, they have, Tamiya especially, several grays that actually would work just fine with this. I mean, I have 3 or 4 different grades of gray that when I hold them next to each other, I really can't tell much of a difference. So I picked this one. Just because I had quite a bit of paint in the can, and I knew it was going to finish the kit. But pretty much any dark gray that you choose that is a good contrast with your hull color. I'm going to bring over the secondary hull here. So that's like a nice contrast there. And that would be just fine. Just hold it up to the instruction manual and pick one you like, and you're good to go. Okay, so basically, I did all of those on the sprues, and it took about 2 or 3 coats. I just made sure to cover everything real nicely. Not much to talk about there. Now, aside from that, these little 3 rings here, now each nacelle is going to get these 3 rings. There's a big piece, a middle-sized piece, and a smaller piece. I'll have to look at the instructions to find out what order they go in, but you know, they basically stack together, and they give you these little ridge things in the front of the nacelles. So those are nice and painted, and I sanded those down real nicely with some sanding sticks and everything before I painted them. And now these little pieces here, I remember, I think when I unboxed this kit, I didn't know what these were, but they pretty much go onto the side of the nacelle. Actually, let me grab one here. Pardon me as I walk away. And here I am. So here's one of the nacelles. I finished clear coating these, so these are ready to go. So basically, these pieces are going to go in here like that. And then one of the silver pieces here, or this like aluminum there. I'm just dry fitting this, of course, right there. And that's kind of how it goes in there. And then there's these little guys that go in somewhere along here. I'll have to take a look. So anyway, that's how that it goes in. So again, just I picked a nice dark, kind of a flat gray, matte gray to go in there. Let me put the nacelle to the side. And then we've got the end caps here. Now this here is a the little balls I painted with a insignia white, and I'll bring out that paint in a second. And then these little guys are for the rear of the nacelles. Oops. Let me see, where do they go? I think they kind of go here. Yeah, these little nubs. So they go right there on the back. Okay. Okie dokie. So I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way here. A little time lapse maybe. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the colors that we used here. So these two pieces here are part of the inside of the warp nacelle, I guess the chiller grills. These were spray painted with a Tamiya aluminum. This is gloss aluminum TS17. They have a flat silver, bare metal silver. To me, kind of they all look the same, really. They're very small pieces, and they're going to be kind of embedded. So any kind of a shiny or silver metallic thing that you pick would be just fine. I just picked this one. And those are here for the side of the nacelles that go into these little guys here, right there. So they'll go in there like that. All right. Now, these two pieces here, they're also on the inside of the nacelle, the grill, and they're brackets or something like that. So this color here is the hull color, the Tamiya XF12 that we've been using, and that's the base color here. And then I taped it. I masked these things and made sure to mask the underside there, so it's just the top. And then this is also the TS99 that I used there. So just add a little bit of color. Really not too many colors involved on this kit, guys. Now the end caps for the nacelles, the rear, this of course, that same gray, the TS99. Now here, these balls, I chose Tamiya Insignia White, U.S. Navy. It's kind of a creamy white. It's not very pearlescent or reflective, and it's a nice kind of a dull white that I really do. I really like that one, so I chose that. Now, these little balls here, they just kind of snap in. There's a little groove in there that makes them fit just right. And on the inside, what I did was I just put them a little bit of CA glue, this Maxicure Extra Thick. I just chose that so it wouldn't run through down here, real thick one, and just put a couple dabs here on the inside of each cap, and then hit it with the Instaset, and so that they're not going anywhere. And it came out real nice, and I'll be gluing those to the back. I still have to clean the paint off of the back here, and then we'll be just attaching them to the rear of these nacelles going forward. I'm probably not even going to film that rather. It's just they just snap on how they're supposed to. So so that's how those are going to go on, and that's pretty much it. I just wanted to my apologies. One more little interesting piece here. So these here 4 pieces go on the outside of the nacelle. So there's the nacelle here, and then right here, and right here. So they kind of go, in these little slots like that. Now, I made a real stupid mistake. When I was doing these things, I accidentally cut, there's this little extension right here that you can see on these 2 pieces. I accidentally cut them off of these 2. It was a stupid mistake. I was just kind of in a hurry. I wasn't thinking. I thought they were, it was extra flash or extra pieces. So I just snapped one of them off, and then I realized what I did immediately. And I go, well, okay, I can't get it back. It flew away somewhere. And so I cut one other one, and then I left these other 2 the same. So what I'm going to end up doing, and this is just a dumb mistake, again, on my part, is one side of these, like maybe the inside will have the little piece here, and then the outside will have the one with no piece on there. or maybe I'll just cut it off altogether. I don't know. I'm pretty embarrassed about it, to be honest. It's a stupid mistake, but once you clip something off like that, you really can't get it back. And I was just kind of in a hurry, so full disclosure. In fact, I think I'm just going to snip it off and just kind of sand it down and fix the paint there. That's probably what I'll do. Okay, aside from that, on the inside here on these parts is just it's Tamiya flat aluminum that I brushed on. I just used a brush, and if you were really to zoom in and look here, you'll see a few imperfections, but I think on the whole it looks pretty good. So it's flat aluminum there. All right. I know it's kind of a long segment, but these are little bits here that on other builds I've seen they don't really talk about them. So I'm just gonna lay out all the paint here and what we're doing, and this is pretty much it, everybody. So we've got some Tamiya flat aluminum XF16. That's for the inside of these little pieces here that we just showed. We have some Tamiya AS20 Insignia White that we use for the back end of these end caps on the nacelles. The Tamiya TS99 UN Gray, which is just kind of a medium style gray. You can pick any of them that you happen to like. And we have some gloss aluminum TS17 for the little pieces here on the chiller grills. Again, any kind of silver, aluminum, metallic that you might have laying around or that you like, it would work just fine. These pieces are small, they're subtle, and they're going to be kind of in shadow. So whatever you like, whatever you have is going to be just fine. If you want to airbrush them, that's cool. I happen to have some spray paint. Okay, the only other color that I'm going to talk about here that I haven't shown yet is right here, and this is light blue, Tamiya AS5 light blue, and I'm going to be using this. It's almost a gray. Like if it said something gray, I couldn't even tell it was blue. I'm going to use this here, this light blue, for the front of the neck. Now, the ship actually does have a blue stripe or a blue section kind of in front of these windows that goes up the neck here. It's very subtle. It's very almost unnoticeable, but it's there. So instead of getting like a a sky blue, for instance, like, oh gosh, I don't know. Let's say a Vallejo light blue here. It's kind of a blue color, or something even more sky blue. I want something that's almost unnoticeable. I mean, this light blue is almost a gray. In fact, the USS Defiant from DS9, I'm going to paint. This is a nice base color for modern Trek or later versions of Trek, TNG and so forth. That's going to be the thing I'd choose up there. It's going to be very subtle, almost unnoticeable. But you all know me. I like things to be very subtle, almost unnoticeable. Okay. The only other thing to talk about are these little pieces here that go on the inside of the struts. Again, this is the Tamiya TS99 that we painted those with. And to get these in here, I did have to sand them down a little bit. I just took my 180 grit sandpaper like this and took the pieces in my hand here like this and just rubbed them back and forth on all sides, on all four sides there, brushed them off, wiped them off with like a wet, damp rag, and they were fine. And then I just put a little bit of the model glue down in here, the regular old testers right there, in the middle of each of these cavities here, and just pushed them in, and they went fine. Now we have talked about, of course, where the tester glue, is better to put things on clean bare plastic, but again, these things I had to push them in to fit. So that glue that I put, or cement that I put in here, will eat through enough of that paint that I had on there, and these are not going anywhere. So I mean, there's no stress on them, there's no anything like that. So all right, well, aside from that, the secondary hull is ready to go. I have a couple little pieces here. There's these little grids these tiny little things here. I don't even know what to call them. They're the same color as the hull. I painted them. They're off to the side. I just have to glue those in. And I'll just probably scrape out a little bit of the paint off of this little notch there and put them in. No big deal. From there is just going to be putting the clear coat on there and then taking off the masks and everything and getting the decals on. So looking really good, everyone. We will come back soon with the next segment. Catch you in a second. Hey folks, okay, another short segment here, and what we have in front of us here are the front end caps of the warp nacelle. So there's two pieces to each one. One of them is kind of the spoked piece, and then the other clear dome, which goes like on top of it. And some of the builds, you know, there's actually motors that actually turn these things. You put lights in there, and it gives a nice effect. We're not using that, however. We're using the LED boards here that we'll be installing in there. So we're going to go over that later. But for this, I wanted to go over how we prep this. So as you can see here, these pieces here look frosted. You know, they're diffused and everything, and you can't really see through them. Hold it up to the camera a little bit nicer and put a light on it, put a light behind it, and you can see it's kind of a frosty look. Whereas if you have just the clear one, it's just really bright. So instead of spray painting white on the inside, which is kind of an okay technique, but the thing is it pulls and collects in there and it's really hard to get it nice. So we're just going to scuff it. And this is an instance where we're actually going to use the steel wool. This is 00 or double-aught steel wool. And I used to use this to prep my surfaces of the model kits to paint them, but I decided against that because the little bits of the steel will get everywhere. They get on my towel, they get in my skin, they can stay in the model kit itself, and I found that the scrub technique works good for that. So but this, however, this is really good for doing this job. So here I'm just going to show you how I did that. So I just basically stuffed the wool in there and just kept turning it around. Now there is a stock or a little nub on the inside of the smaller one that you have to contend with, and I actually did trim that down because I didn't want the stock hitting the control board, so I cut it down there, and I just used a kind of thicker wire cutters because I don't want to use my nice expensive ones for that. So I just went down there and I started by doing a little pressure this way, turning it a little bit pressure, and then eventually it came off. I was leery about just giving a big heavy snap and having it crack through or do anything, so I just did it nice and slow. So I would recommend that you do the same thing when you cut that piece off on the inside. If you're mounting this with the that LED board, go slow. Make a lot of small cuts all the way around, and you should be fine. Okay. So again, I'm just twisting and turning this around, and that looks pretty good. And then I'll go back on the outside and just do the same thing. Get all over the place. I don't think you can overdo it on this, so have at it. Go rough if you want to. You don't have to worry about making big gashes with this stuff. In fact, the more you do, the more even it will be, and you won't see anything like that. So, okay, and then when this is done, I'll wipe it down with some ISP, the alcohol, get all the dust and stuff on it. Then I'm going to go through with a brush and paint these spokes a silver color to give it some depth. Now the masking kit comes with little masks to put around here, but I'm steady enough. I can get that with a brush, I hope. Anyway, but if I do go over a bit, these are recessed, and you can just sand over them. Okay, all right, that's it now. So I'll put these aside. That's what I'm going to do with that now. These little pieces here, these are for the front end cap. So like these actually go in like this. I forgot to paint these. I light blocked them, of course, because I don't want any of the LEDs coming out of here. but I forgot to paint these the hull color, so I have to paint them. This is the part here where my finger is, that goes into the nacelle, and then everything else is exposed. And then right here, these little rings go over there in that way. So I'm gonna have to break out the airbrush and break out the color and do that. It's kind of an annoying thing. I don't like using the airbrush if I don't have to. It's just, it comes out really nice and everything, but the cleanup and the setup and getting the pressure right and dealing with splatters and all that kind of stuff, you know, it's kind of weird. Like, I mean, we love this hobby, and with any hobby we all do, I mean, there's things about it that we just would rather not do. The little annoying parts, you know, and airbrushing for me is one of them. I appreciate the look of it when it comes out, but yeah, so. All right, that's nice and frosted. It really comes out nice. It's almost like you you know, painted it with a smoke color or something. So that came out pretty good. Let's see here. The other thing I'm going to have to do is paint. I'm going to have to mask it. And there's three little things on here that are kind of like the things that attach. Now those got to get painted the whole color, so I do have to mask this off and paint those. I'll just brush them on. That'll be fine. And then get the airbrush out and do these. And then we'll be continuing to move on and move forward. Okay, catch you in another segment. All right, folks, so my voice isn't working too well right now. I don't know why. Anyway, apologize for the background noise. It is still about 11 degrees here, so I've got the heater on. So in front of me here is the front end of one of the warp nacelles, and I'm going to install the board here, the spinning lights. So I'm going to show you here, there are 3 pieces of sprue in here, and that is just some pieces that I cut off of here, and I just glued them in with some CA glue to create kind of a little shelf for the board to sit on. So we're going to be using canopy glue for this. I was going to use some hot glue, but I figured, you know, I'm going to be fidgeting around with this thing. Hot glue sets really fast, so I'm just using some CA glue right here on these little peg things that I made. Make sure I get enough on there. I struggled with the last one, so I'm figured out what I had to do here. So, okay, so that's on the glue anyway. I'm going to take these wires here. And once these are in, I'll determine which one is port and starboard. The lights spin inward toward the center of the ship. So the starboard side spins clockwise, and the port side spins counterclockwise if you're looking directly head on at the ship. So it's you get this fed in there. I lost a little glue, rolled off on me. This stuff's pretty watery. Canopy glue. It's a good glue. It's not meant to support a lot of weight or anything. It just kind of gets things set, and it's a safe glue to use for these boards. Now, okay, so I'm holding this in, and on the last one I struggled on how to do it, so I'm just going to take this wire here and pull it, not too tight, but just pull it a little bit, and then I'm going to get some tape that I pulled off here and just do that, and that's enough to hold this steady enough for this glue to dry and have it set there. All right. So in the meantime, I did paint these little 2 speeds, the spoke wheel. I just used a hand brush and got that in there, and whatever part spilled off, I just used sandpaper and got it right off, because these are recessed areas, so you can be pretty liberal and sloppy actually. And not only that, but you're not going to see, you can make a little mistakes and you won't see it too much because these are so foggy. So next thing I'm going to do is do some more CA glue or I might actually just do a little bit of research here and figure out. So these aren't really sitting on anything. We could probably use the CA glue on there. Yes, I can. I'll just go ahead and do that. And glue that on that way, and then this one on there, and we'll be set. So before I do that, though, I'm going to plug these in and determine which one's rotating which, and then I'll mark it on the side of the thing, and we'll put them in. So you got to be a little patient here. Probably should let this glue dry here for a while and then do that part. So, all right, that was that part, and there's nothing else I have for this segment, so we'll catch you on the next one. See you in a minute. Okay, let's put down some decals, shall we? So I have here the secondary hull with the warp nacelles attached, and I've put down some of the decals already, and I'm just showing you which ones. I've put down the warp nacelle pennant and then the pennant on the all the starboard side stuff. So now I'm going to do the starboard side pennant here on the secondary hull right there, and then the long pennant along the warp nacelle, and I just want to document for you how I'm doing it. Now, these decals here are from HCA Model Works. They're the supplementary decals, and I got to tell you, folks, these decals are absolutely superb. They are of immense high quality. They're printed on a laser printer, very fine film. And again, I don't get sponsored by Jerry over there. I just know his name, but because he signs his name at the bottom of all the receipts when you order something, and they are not sponsoring me, but I've got to tell you, these decals are excellent. I ordered them. They do come with the ship, but I'm using these extra ones that I bought. I'm sure the ones that come with the ship are just fine, but these are like of the best possible quality. Laser printed, hand checked before they go into the package and all that. They're numbered exactly like they are on the instruction sheet, which is nice. So you won't get confused on which ones to do. So anyway, I am just cutting these here. I'm using a number 11 X-Acto knife. And when I do decals, I generally try to use a new blade. So this is a brand new number 11 blade, super sharp. And I'm doing it on the hobby mat that I have that's under this towel that you see. And yeah, it looks like you can't see it. I didn't even know if I was in camera, but I am. Got a little close there. So I'm using this hobby mat. Now I have a kind of junky one that I use for my soldering and stuff. I'm not touching that because it's got bumps and things on it, and I wouldn't get a nice clean cut. So this is a nice, good condition hobby mat here. So in this plate here, I've got some water that I put in the microwave a while ago, just to kind of get it to lukewarm temperature because it's cold here. And now what I've done before, I've just taken like a paper towel and put it down and sprayed the decal. But for this, I'm doing a very just a plastic plate here, filled with just a little bit of water. You don't need a lot. And this stuff detaches from there real quick. So we don't need to leave it soaking in there for very long at all. In fact, I could probably take it out right now. So I'm just going to go over my technique for doing the decals here. So again, very important that you clear coat your model before you start putting decals on, because the water will smudge dirt and everything. You won't get a good seal. So I'm going to put the warp nacelle pennant on. I'm going to just lay the front one down. Now, according to the directions, if you look here, and this is kind of how I'm lining it up, the forward or the top corner here, where this little section here with the little yellow delta symbol, that top part is almost in line with the warp pylon, maybe just a smidge behind it. So that's kind of my guide. Now, I'm not worrying about centering it right now. Whoops, it came right off of the thing. I better get it on there. Did not mean for that to happen. Okay. That was almost a disaster. Okay, so this is actually a good example. So I got it on there. If you're new to putting decals on, always make sure if you have to move it that you've got water down, and it will slide around just fine. And you can just use one finger to slide it back and forth. You don't want to pull it apart or anything like that. So kind of nice that happened. Now, right now, I don't know how it is lined up. I've got it kind of eyeballed. It's somewhat in the right position, but I'll show you a little trick that I use for that, or that I kind of came up with. Now, you can also, of course, put these decals on before you assemble the warp nacelle. Before you put these warp nacelles on, you can go ahead and put these decals on. There's nothing wrong with that. I didn't, because I wanted to get the things on. I was in a hurry. So I knew I was kind of risking it there, but I knew I'd figure it out. So, okay, let me cut the other one here. And what I'm doing here is, well, you know what? I won't do it on this one. The last one, I cut this into 3 pieces, but I'll just do this in one. So you want to go nice and slow. And you don't need to be absolutely perfect and get it right against the edge of the letter, because if you falter, you will cut into the letter and you'll see it. So I'd advise giving yourself a little space for error. Not too much, but a little bit. Tell you, it's really nice you can tell when you're using a fresh blade. I mean, these X-Acto knives are always sharp, but when you put a brand new one on, sorry, you can feel it. Okay, I'll just cut it there, and it should pop out. Okay, so I'll put that in the plate, and I'll move my decal sheet a safe distance away so it doesn't get wet. Let me just, man, this water got cold pretty quick, but that's okay. So, all right, so we have here the nacelle. Now, also very important, I washed my hands thoroughly before I started this, and I don't know if this matters, but I chose distilled water. I got nice distilled water, so I know there's no minerals or anything in there that might cause silvering later on, or where the decal can just pull apart. Okay. Darn, it came off again. Look at that, huh? Let's get the tweezers. This is not ideal. There we go. Man, that's always a nerve-wracking, I tell you. Okay, so I'm going to position this. Now, we're going to line this up. So, how do we do that? Now, the instructions, I like to use little keys. So we use that little front piece there of the pennant as a kind of guide to go in along with the nacelle strap. For here, the back of the pennant, it's almost in the middle of this. If you look at this, whoops, and butterfingers. If you look at this little piece here, this guy. Oh, I think I'm too far zoomed in, aren't I? Okay. If we look at this piece here, the back of the pennant is just about in the middle of that. So I'm doing that, and if you draw a line from in the middle of this dark gray piece all the way through, that's the center line where this is going to go. So if you have a line going right from the middle of this piece straight through, that should go through the middle of all of the decals. So first, let us line up, approximate anyway. So that's about the middle, okay? This is about the middle. Oh, can you see it? Let me make sure here. I'll move this away a little bit. So here's the piece, the gray piece. That's about in the middle or so. And right now I'm just going to approximate it. I'm generally pretty good at this, at lining things up by hand, finding the midpoint of something by eye, but so I'm going to line it up kind of where I want. I'm paying attention. Also, I want the same amount of space between the N and this part as there is between the 1 and here. So I'm going to get a little closer. That looks about right. Okay, so I think this might be a little bit low. Good enough for now. Okay, so how do we line it up? So what I've done here, I have a piece of string, and I'm going to hold it in the middle. I can definitely eyeball if I'm in the middle of this gray piece. And I pull it tight. And if I pull it tight, then I can see this string should go through the middle of all the decal. Now I can see I need to raise the back up a little bit and the front down just slightly. It's probably okay. So let me get my finger a little bit, put a little bit more water on there. Okay. Get the string, pull it tight, and it's going pretty good right there. Okay. I'm going to run with it. I don't need to mess with it. I might be off a micron or two, but we're going to take it. So it's on and it's in position. Now, how do we dry it off? Well, I get a nice clean paper towel and I just dab it. I don't rub it. I don't scrub it. I don't swirl it or twirl it. I just dab. Very light pressure at first. I almost let the paper towel take what it wants. And then as I go through a second round, I'll push a little harder to squeeze some of the water that's underneath out. Or I'll put a little pressure rather, not squeezing. Okay, and you can start to see where there's some bubbles. So now the way I have there's a light above here and it's shining and I don't think you can see it on the camera, but when I move my head up and down, I can see where there are bubbles. And when I find them, I stay with the pressure. I'm just pushing where I find these bubbles. Always start with dabbing. The wiping we will do at the end. You don't want to have to wipe it too much. You shouldn't have to anyway. And with these decals, I'll tell you, they go on so nicely. You don't need to worry about, okay. That's pretty good. So now I'm going to just wipe in one direction. You don't wipe back and forth. Again, this is for people who have never really done this before. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure and just slowly go in one direction. Now I'm going to go the other direction, very lightly, making sure not to snag the other decal or the other piece where I'd cut it. And just following through. Again, I am moving my head up and down to make sure if I see, because depending on how the light's hitting the decal, you'll see new bubbles and new little wrinkles and things that you may have missed from another angle. That's why I have the bright light on here. Oh, see that? Look at that. Took that off. So I peeled that up a little bit, so I'm just putting a little bit more water down and just to kind of give it a new seal. See, this is a good example why you want to wipe too much, because you'll pull that sucker right off. Okay, I'm going to give it one more little check visually from this angle. Looks good. Do one more string test. Looks good to me. Okay, so that's it. And I'm going to basically do the same technique with the pennant down here, and that's this piece here. That one I'm not going to record. It goes on very basic, and you can get a good idea of exactly where to place it. There's this little ridged piece in here, and you can see, you know, there's a nice little gap there. It's the same angle, and you just use that to go forward. So, all right, folks, we're at that decal stage. I love it. Love this part. We'll catch you on the next segment.